Hi, I'm Derek Petrie, the CEO of Choice Genetics. Let's go through what more meat, less feed actually means. Because when we talk about more meat, less feed, we're not just talking about looking at feed conversion or some specific trait or an individual trait. We're more talking about the whole spectrum of from farrow to finish, from farm to fork. So we're looking at on the maternal side. So we're trying to produce pigs that are higher quality. So we're not just trying to produce more pigs, but we're trying to produce pigs that bring quality, that make it to full value at the end. Because ideally for a producer, we're not trying to add more pigs that he has to spend more time and more effort just to make pigs survive. We're trying to produce pigs that do well on their own, and that they're very good moms and they can raise these pigs on their own. So in our genetic selection, we're focusing on making pigs that do well, that convert well, and because they add 50% to the final market pig. And then when we start talking about on the terminal side, what does that add to the producer? Our goal is to use the best tools in the industry that are available. Our first goal with that is to use a CT machine, which is computed tomography. And the reason we do that is because this allows us to look at the entire pig from head to toe. So we don't have to predict what the value of a pig is anymore. We know what the value is. So with that being said, we know exactly how much fat's on the pig, how much muscle's on the pig, and we can construct the pig back in the way that we feel that is best for the consumer and for the producer. So we're able to add sellable pounds of muscle to the pig, and at the same time take off pounds of fat that are not needed, that have a very high correlation with feed conversion. So the goal is to really drive home the total value for the producer. So ultimately, we want to drive up the amount of sellable pounds of muscle that he has, and at the same time conserving the amount of feed necessary to get there. In our CT program today, we're using it on the paternal side or the terminal side, and in that program we're doing every pig in our Pietrin herd or EBX herd and every pig in our Duroc herd, the XM herd. So every male and every female goes through the CT process. So that means we off test using the most precise tool we have on every animal in the herd. And at the same time, when we do this, we're taking them to a weight that would be economically what the U.S. industry is doing. So our goal is to hit somewhere around 280 pounds. So that's our target of what we run through the machine. So we're doing this at weights that our producers would actually sell their pigs at. So we're really able to differentiate the differences in the pigs for fat and muscle. So where do we see the future of the industry going? So ultimately we see the industry is getting more technical savvy. So they're looking at different things to improve their systems. We see weights of pigs going up, they're not going down. We see people becoming more integrated than what they have in the past. So how we're getting involved in that is trying to look at the total picture of what's going on. So we do that through the genetics program that we're doing, which includes the CT. So that also includes hiring a staff of seasoned veterans that really add something to the team. And our most recent ad was Dr. Roger Johnson from Farmland, who has a vast experience in the packing industry, a very strong person for our team, really adds a depth that we haven't really had in the past. So very excited about that. And as we keep moving forward, we keep trying to add more technical people to our team. So I'd like to talk a little bit more about Dr. Roger Johnson and what he brings to the team. So Dr. Johnson has obviously been, as everybody in the industry would know, a pioneer in the meat quality, meat science world. So very exciting to add him to the team, because as we keep selecting for leaner and leaner animals, the one thing we want to make sure we do is don't ruin the experience that the consumer has. So he can add a focus on our genetic selection program that we really haven't had before of what does meat quality really mean? How do we define that? How do we implement that into our system? So he brings that element that we really haven't had, that true experience of doing those kind of hands-on things for the last 15 years. So it's very exciting to have him on the team to be able to bring that element to our system. So if you have any more questions about things that are going on in our company, feel free to look at our website, choicegenetics.com, as well as we're on social media, Twitter and Facebook. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us.
This video is brought to you by Farms.com.